guys. Today I am going to read a book from my childhood. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It's called Pickle, Chiffon Pie by Jolly Roger Banfield. And this is legitimately one of my favorite books. It's a little long though, so get ready. My mom actually requested this morning, so here we go. A long time ago, there was a fat little king who ruled over the land as far as he could see in every direction. He was very wise, and his kingdom was a happy one. His wife, the queen, kept his castle spotless and saw that his robes were cleaned and pressed. She was a very good cook and made him a pickle chiffon pie every day. But everybody has problems. The king had a daughter. Oh, she was very nice and did whatever he told her to. But she was also very beautiful, and every prince in the neighborhood wanted to marry her. Every day they came to the palace with flowers and gifts for her. To be polite, she would invite them all to stay for supper. And that meant there would be less pickle chiffon pie for the king. That was his problem. He likes his pie. Finally, one day, the king decided that his daughter should marry one of the princes. Then at least there would be fewer people at the dinner table each night. He called for the 3 nicest princes and told them that they would be put to a test and that the winner could marry the princess. The first prince, Prince Musclebaum, was very strong and brave. The princess liked him because he was tall and had wavy hair and freckles. The second prince, Prince Well-Read, was very smart. He could count up to 684, and he read books 3 inches thick. The princess liked him too, because he read beautiful stories to her and sometimes played music under her window at night. The third prince, Prince Bernard, wasn't very strong or very handsome or very smart, but the princess liked him best of all. She didn't really know why she liked him. Perhaps it was because he had a big smile and a funny nose. It's hard to tell with princesses. Excuse me, there's a cat in the picture. The king told the 3 princes this: "You will each go into the huge forest at the edge of the kingdom for 3 days. As you know, it is full of gazoos, fairies, dimdoozles, and all sorts of unusual things. The one who brings back the most unusual, the most marvelous, the most wonderful thing may marry the princess. Now, remember, be back in 3 days." Musclebaum was delighted. Being stronger and braver than the others, he thought he would surely win. With a shout, he jumped onto his horse and galloped off into the direction of the forest. At first, he didn't see anything unusual. Just a few small dragons, a troll peeking out of a tree, and a medium-sized giant. The usual things one sees in a forest. I don't think I've ever seen those things in a forest. But finally, looking behind a huge boulder, he did see something different. A green and blue dragon with 3 heads toasting marshmallows. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Prince Musclebaum. But I have 2 more days. I'll look a bit more. On the second day, he saw a 4-wheeled dimdoozle wearing glasses. Now there's something different, thought Musclebaum. I've never seen a dimdoozle before. I have 1 more day. I'll look a bit more. You can tell how old this book is. On the third day, he saw something really different. A huge lion juggling 6 cans of root beer soup. He was wearing a velvet vest and roller skates. "This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the whole forest," cried Prince Musclebaum. Bravely, he grabbed at the lion's tail and started dragging him back towards the castle. My goodness. Meanwhile, Prince Wellred was searching too. The first day he spied a witch who could turn people into frogs, which wasn't really so special, except for that she could do it with her eyes shut and one hand behind her back. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Wellred. But I have 2 more days. I'll look a bit more. On the second day, he saw a 16-footed gazoo that had a different kind of shoe on each foot. Now there's something different, thought Wellred. I've never seen a gazoo with more than 7 feet. But I have 1 more day. I'll look a bit more. Look at all the different shoes he's got on. They're silly. On the third day, he came upon something really different. A giant with a green beard playing chopsticks on 2 pianos. "This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the forest," cried Prince Wellred. "I've never heard that tune before." He cleverly told the giant what a fine piano player he was and talked him into going back to the castle to play for the king. He's got strawberries on his vest. Now, let's not forget Prince Bernard. On the first day, he saw an ogre so scary that he scared the leaves right off the trees. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Bernard, but he might frighten the princess. If I brought him back, I have 2 more days. I think I'll look a bit more. On the second day, he discovered a tiny house tucked behind a tree. He peeked in and saw that it was filled with mice, all busily painting the most wonderful pictures. Now there's something different, thought Bernard. But it really wouldn't be right to stop such happy, hard-working little fellows right in the middle of their work. I have 1 more day. I'll look a bit more. Look at those beautiful paintings those mice are doing. It would be mean to stop them, wouldn't it? On the third day, he saw something really different. A 3-nosed snoozle with fuzzy ears and an orange polka dot necktie. And it was busy making pickle chiffon pie. "This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the whole forest," he cried. "I thought the queen was the only one who could make pickle chiffon pie. Oh, the king will be so happy." With that, he grabbed the snoozle's necktie and started leading it back towards the castle. Prince Bernard had never been happier in his whole life. It was hard work pulling the 3-nosed schnoozle through the forest, but Prince Bernard didn't mind. He was sure he would win the hand of the contest to marry the princess. But he wasn't quite so happy when he saw how sad the snoozle looked. "Oh, look, he's crying." "Don't feel bad," said Bernard. "You'll like the living at the palace. It's much nicer than this dark old forest, and anyways, I have to take you back in order to marry the princess." Bernard noticed several tiny snoozles peering from behind the trees. "Why, aren't they cute?" he said. Are they your children?" The 3-nosed snoozle nodded with big wet tears coming into his eyes. What will happen to them when you're gone? Do they have anyone to take care of them? The snoozle shook his head sadly. No, so sad. Prince Bernard sat down on a log to think. He thought about his love for the princess. He thought about the snoozle's love for its children. And for a long time it was very quiet and still in the forest. Finally, with a sigh, the prince let go of the snoozle's necktie and watched it scamper off. Then he turned and walked slowly towards the castle. His 3 days were up. He did a nice thing for that snoozle. When all the princes were called to appear before the king, Musclebaum had a big smile on his face. He was sure he would win with his juggling lion. Well-Red was smiling too. He was just as sure that he would win when the king heard the giant play his 2 pianos. Bernard hung his head sadly as he stood empty-handed behind the others. The king was delighted with Musclebaum's lion. "Wonderful!" he cried as the lion juggled 23 apples and a bottle of ketchup. Ooh. Miss Christina's class knows. Miss Christina does not like ketchup. Ugh. And when Well-Red's giant played chopsticks on his 2 pianos, the king laughed and clapped his hands in delight. "How wonderful!" he cried. "So unusual!" Then he turned to Bernard. "And what have you brought back?" he asked. Prince Bernard bowed low before the king. He hoped that no one noticed the tears in his eyes as he raised his head and said softly, "Nothing, Your Majesty." He told of meeting the ugly ogre who might have frightened the princess. He told them of seeing the amazing mice whose paintings he could not bring himself to interrupt. He told of the tiny snoozle children that he could not bear to leave in the forest alone. There was silence in the castle. No one spoke for a long time. Bernard wished that he could run and hide. Everyone was looking at him, all except the queen and the princess. They were whispering to the king. The king nodded his head and smiled. "Bernard," he said in a loud voice, "you have won the right to marry the princess." But why, Your Majesty? I didn't bring anything back," said Bernard. "Oh, yes, you did, my son," said the king. "You brought back a story of kindness and love and consideration for others. Truly, the most wonderful thing of all. You'll make a fine husband for my daughter." You won. When Bernard married the princess, Well-Red's giant played the wedding march and Musclebaum's lion put on a special exhibition to entertain the guests. Look at all the things he's juggling. And guess who sent Bernard and the princess the biggest pickle chiffon pie anyone had ever saw for a wedding present? That's right, the 3-nosed schnoozle with the fuzzy ears and the orange polka dot necktie. The end. Thank you guys for listening, and I miss my class so much. I miss my children, but we'll see each other again soon. Bye.